as the executive secretary of this foundation, the last couple of years, maybe 10, 15 years, there's been a massive change across board. And you just mentioned the fact that it's now important for our member states to not to leave the investment of capacity, building the capacity of our people to chance. When you look at the changes that have swept across the globe, where do you see the continent? And what does that mean to you? And my question should be contextualized with reference to, again, skills development, women, youth, and as I mentioned, the small and medium scale enterprises that we have on our continent.
We can say a lot about the changes that we have witnessed in the world over the past decade. And we can list many, but I will actually highlight just one.
Yes.
Which I think is extremely, extremely important.
Good.
Is the rapid digitization of the economy globally. You mentioned in my introduction my work or tenure at Visa, which is a technology company.
Absolutely.
And in 2020, during COVID, we witnessed 3 years worth of digitization happen in just one year.
Yeah.
That tells you the scope and that tells you about the pace of digitization. Data continues to show that trajectory is not slowing down and it's unlikely to reverse and to go back. Research produced by the World Economic Forum in 2021 states that over 70% of wealth created in the next decade is going to be done through digital platforms.
Absolutely.
Today, when you trade, when you learn, when you do so many things, this is done digitally. So the transformation is here. It's not a tale. But when we look at that trajectory and what that means, it means that Africa has to build its capacities to avoid being left behind.
Absolutely.
This is critical. But this means so many things. This means actually having the right policies, the right regulation capacity. This means investing in the infrastructure.
Absolutely.
You just witness as we have this conversation the challenges we have with connectivity.
Absolutely.
But this means also investing in training people.
Which is education broadly.
Education broadly, but digital education as well.
Yeah.
And this means supporting as well fintechs, application of digital technology into processes, and through that create value, but also create opportunities for business, entrepreneurship, and employment on the continent.
Right.
So, to come back to your question of where Africa is,
yes.
To me, you can address it in many ways. We have the richest continent.
Absolutely.
We have increasingly educated people, etc., etc. There is sustained growth, economic growth on the continent, while we see economic slowdown in other parts of the world. I think today the whole world recognizes that Africa is actually the continent of the future.
Absolutely.
But I always ask, the future for whom?
And I love that. I like
is
that.
it the future for the people of Africa?
Africa.
Or is it the future for people who have always taken advantage
Of Africa.
of Africa?
Absolutely.
Or at least benefiting more than African people. So to ensure that the future of Africa remains for Africans, and I want to make a precision there. You cannot just say for African, but I would say for Africans in majority.
In majority.
Because we cannot
Absolutely.
exclude others and our partners.
Sure.
We definitely need to make sure that our people have the knowledge, they have the skills, the competencies to actually leverage the resources that we have and the development momentum that we see. And we have also our governments display the best governance possible. And we have to be prepared actually to trade on an equal basis with the rest of the world.